Ladies, I just thought, I hate leaving matters swinging. Thank you for the time, by the way. But last week we spoke about that former Afghan army officer being executed by the Taliban. Have we made any progress on protecting people who worked for us over there? And do we know how many are at risk? Accepting Tanya's point last week, if we fail our allies today, who will be our allies tomorrow? Conchetta, you first. How much remains to be done? Do we have specific numbers?
Look, Alan, the answer is we don't have specific numbers. But two things I have to say were clarified at estimates today. Firstly, that the Department of Foreign Affairs don't actually know how many visa holders have been left behind. And secondly, that the locally engaged employee visa eligibility is governed by a legislative instrument that was introduced during Labor's time with Chris Bowen. Now, this specifically excludes Afghan government or military officials or those employed in a private security capacity. So we were told today that there's a ministerial discretion that can certify people outside this strict criteria, which both the foreign and the defence ministers have exercised on a rare case-by-case basis. So that's the latest from estimates today.
Oh, Tanya, have you made any headway on getting information as to how many? I mean, that's clarification from Conchetta. I mean, what about the family of this assassinated Afghan army officer?
No, there's no news, sadly, Alan. And Connie's talking about Senate estimates, both through Senate estimates and questions on notice from Senator Penny Wong, who's our Foreign Affairs spokesperson. She has been pursuing this issue, and there is no, there is.
But just let me ask you a dumb question, Tanya.
A little amount of information. And
let me ask therefore a dumb question. Let me ask a dumb question, right? No dumber question than this. Why? Why would we not be moving heaven and earth as a government to make sure we found out these details?
Well, I think it's even worse than that, Alan. So the Department of Foreign Affairs can't even give you a ballpark of how many people are there on the ground that need Australian assistance. And that instrument that Connie's talking about, it appears as though that Defence Department and Foreign Affairs are treating it quite differently, that Foreign Affairs are being very legalistic about this. So, for example, the people who are patrolling the perimeter of the Australian secure area, because they're employed under a different employment arrangement, won't qualify under this. I mean, imagine, you know, it's like the Taliban are going to say, I want to know, were you a contractor or were you a direct employee? That's laughable. I mean, it's not laughable because it's so serious, but it's shocking.
The Taliban don't differentiate. Now, Tanya, I do have to come back to you first for something that is laughable. Sorry. The government today introduced what I think is long overdue legislation requiring voters to show identification when they vote. And the government wants it effective by the next federal election. How the hell can Anthony Albanese say, and I might say respectfully, make a fool of himself, quote, this is a desperate attempt to undermine our strong democracy and deny Australians their basic democratic rights. Tanya, does your leader need some medication?
No, I completely agree with him. This is a law looking around for a problem. The Australian Electoral Commission say that multiple voting is simply not a problem in our system. There are examples that they investigate. If they think there is something to pursue, they refer it to the federal police. But how many people were prosecuted at the last election? Zero.
No, that
there
doesn't
are
mean
some
to
people,
say,
for example, who have got a mental illness who will vote
Tanya,
more than once. But we check.
Tanya.
Go on, Alan, yes.
Now, Tanya, listen, Conchetta, I'll come to you in a minute. I'll give an example to Tanya. To our viewers, Tanya Plibersek represents the seat of Sydney, which is a very big seat in Sydney. There are about 47 polling stations. Now, I'm one of these blokes who sort of wants to corrupt the process. So, because I want my blokes to get up. So I go into the polling booth and I listen, and Bill Smith walks in and he says, and the girl behind the thing, she said, yes, sir, your name? Bill Smith. Oh, there's a lot of Smiths here. Which one are you? I'm 126 Albion Street, Surrey Hills. Oh, so I write down here, Bill Smith, 126 Albion Street, Surrey Hills. So when I finish having my vote, I go to the other 46 stations because Bill Smith is still on that roll and I vote 46 times. And it's happening.
You can't, Alan, because it's automatically checked. That polling station is compared with that polling station is compared with that polling station.
But Bill Smith's name stays on.
Who have
Bill Smith's name, Tanya, Bill Smith's name stays on the roll at every polling station. Conchetta, what do you make of this?
What happens, Alan, is they compare from station to station. You can't
Conchetta.
Alan, Just two things I want to say. My former boss, Jim Carlton, God rest his soul, he could mimic Gough Whitlam's accent perfectly. Not that I'm going to try. And Gough once was rumoured to observe about a colleague. How can he lose his seat? He has 2 cemeteries in his electorate. Also, we know the often cited phrase, vote often, vote early. So I agree with voter ID for obvious reasons.
So do I.
It's long overdue, and the ALP have to get on board on this one.
Conchetta, I've just answered an email today from a person who said, and I quote, I was a staffer to an MP who lost his seat in 1993 by 164 votes. Then we discovered 300 false enrolments and multiple voting. See, to both of you, I say this. The votes are counted here and the Prime Minister is determined. Government is determined. It's not till way down the track that we can identify multiple votes, and we don't know who they voted for. We don't know whether they voted Labor or Liberal.
Alan, I thought the principle of the Liberal Party is you only legislate when it's absolutely necessary. The Australian Electoral Commission says that...
This is necessary,
well, it's simply not. There's thousands of dollars of fines for people who are caught doing this.
But way down the track,
did not
after the government's formed,
one person...
Tanya, after the government is formed.
Homeless people, older people who've given up their driver's licence and their passport.
No, Tanya, you're off the planet.
People in remote communities. But there are Australians who don't even have a birth certificate, Alan,
you're missing my point.
Driver's licence.
You're missing my point. When we find someone who's voted 2, 3 or 4 times, it's 6 and 7 months down the track. The government has already been formed, and we don't even know who they voted for.
This is a problem. Where's the evidence that this is a problem?
Well, Tanya, the Joint Standing Committee on Electoral Matters have been doing reports on this for a long time, and you know it, and they've been recommending voter ID for a long time.
Absolutely.
The Liberal Party keeps wanting to knock people off the electoral roll.
That's
what's going on here.
No.
The poor and the disenfranchised won't get a vote.
I'll give you some evidence. Tanya, I'll give you the evidence next week.